Hey, I'm Brian,
And I'm Rob.
and together, our powers combined, we are the Nostalgic Dad Podcast.
Sorry,
We're
that
gonna
makes me want to
copyright.
watch.
We're gonna copyright that. We're gonna do that.
Yeah, that makes me want to watch the show.
All right. Do you wanna let people know what we're talking about today?
Yes, we are. So we randomly came up. I think you came up with the idea. It was. This is a cult classic. We are talking about the '90s Canadian cartoon show, Reboot.
Yes, and I find it funny, me being the Canadian, you being the American. You're the one that actually suggested this one.
I did. Okay, that's funny.
Yeah, it
Yes.
was. You gave three options. I don't remember the other two at all. But as soon as read reboot, I'm like, that's gotta be it.
Yes. This is the one. Side note, yes, for those of you who don't know, we are doing this podcast from two different countries, so yay for technology.
Yay for winter.
For winter. Yeah, I'm sure you're having fun out there.
No, I'm not. Not at all.
It's okay. You're Canadian. It's born in you.
No, no, it's not.
All right.
I
You-
don't like it. I don't like it at all.
but that gives you more time. You stay indoors and you watch cartoons.
Yeah, I stay indoors because our car gets stuck in snow.
Anywho, so reboot. Um, like last time, we're covering the first season of a show, and we did a good cross section of it. Watched a couple episodes. This time is actually four episodes because the last episode of the season is actually a two-parter.
Correctamundo. It's
Um,
funny. It started in 1994, and I didn't know it ran to 2001.
I didn't know it had that many seasons. It's like six seasons, I think.
I'm not 100% sure on that one. Maybe five or six.
Yeah,
That's the one thing I didn't do the most research on, but apparently the most recurring character is Fong, with 47 episodes.
really
Yeah,
interesting.
Bob only has, I think, 28 because he
But
kind of goes missing for a while.
yeah. By the way, can I say you have you're crafting and creating this heroic main character hero archetype, and you name him Bob.
Yeah,
Like Bob is a name for your uncle.
yeah. I don't. I because I watched it with Chantel for a bit, and she's like, "Why is he called Bob?" I don't know.
I honestly
Just
didn't remember that that was his name, and going back to it, it took me by surprise.
which is weird because everything is computer based. You got the
Right.
floppy disk logo. You got Megabyte, Hack, Slash, Dot, Enzo,
Hmm.
Fong. Does Bob have a meaning that I'm just too stupid not to know, or is that just the Canadian aspect that got thrown into the show?
Yeah, you maybe you could find something in computer language that would relate to it, but I just think they, for some reason, they chose Bob. So they, I think it's just Bob. No deeper meaning.
I think they just had a name full of a hat with names in it, and they're just like, we'll pick the first one. Bob it is.
And everyone's like, Bob? Yeah, sure, why not?
Uh, I went for the cast a little bit. None of them really did anything else. They went on to a bunch of TV shows and whatnot.
Yeah.
Bob, though, he did go on to do the 2018 reboot, Guardian
Really?
Code. Yeah, he did Bob again. I haven't watched it at all.
No, me neither.
The only thing that I did find weird, because I had mentioned it to you offline, there's like five different people credited with Enzo slash Matrix, and it's various episodes. It could be 8 episodes, 12 episodes, 16 episodes. I don't know why. I don't recall his voice ever changing, other than
That's
when he got older.
that's weird. Could they just not hold on to someone or
I have
like
no idea. Bob, the actor who played Bob, I wish I could remember his name right now. Um, but he played three different versions of Bob. He played an evil Bob, and there's a different one I forget now. But a lot of these characters, they went on to voice numerous other characters.
yeah, I imagine that happens a lot on like shows just because they're probably trying to save money.
Yeah, I'm sure it was probably pretty hard being the first CGI style cartoon.
I couldn't imagine. Yeah. So Yeah, we talked about that before. That's a fun fact that this is the world's first fully computer animated television show, and that couldn't be cheap.
Yeah, I highly doubt it.
I don't even know how they got the budget for this, and how they kept it going for 6 seasons.
Really makes you wonder. I don't know. I know the toys would have brought in some good finances,
Yeah, you're right.
but the PS1 game would have not. That PS1 game's the quality of ET on the Atari.
Ooh, or like Superman 64.
Yeah,
Oh my
it,
God.
it's bad.
Well, now I want to play it just to see. You ever like see something you hear that something's so bad that you're like, I want to see how bad that is.
Yes, because I did that with Friday the 13th on the NES.
Mm,
That's bad, dude.
that's really bad, and it's really hard. It
It's
seems,
just weird.
yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. All right. So, shall we get down to this breakdown?
Yeah, so we're doing episode one, The Tearing. Short little plot on that. We get an introduction to a bunch of characters. We find out Frisket, for whatever reason, hates Bob.
Yeah.
Frisket's the dog. I still don't understand why he hates Bob so much. But yeah, Megabyte has a tear that's located underneath his base, I believe.
Yes, I think
And
so.
he needs Bob to secure it. That's pretty much the episode. Bob secures it, but he doesn't secure it for Megabyte. And then we don't know what goes on after that because that's how the episode ends.
Yeah. Um, yeah, you were saying Frisket doesn't like Bob. There's this. It's kind of a continuing theme that I guess Bob is kind of new to mainframe because he's like this new guardian there, and
Yeah.
so the other guy, the guy working at Dot's Diner, he's kind of like this French robot. He also doesn't
Cecil?
like. Yeah, he also doesn't like Bob for some reason, and I just thought like, okay, multiple people don't like this guy for no reason. I'm assuming it's just because he's like new there or he's not from their mainframe.
Yeah, I'm assuming they probably just don't like strangers.
For Bob, so he is a guardian, which means he's supposed to guard like that mainframe. He is kind of like this protector of it. And so I kind of like was getting vibes of like, is this supposed to be like Keanu Reeves, Matrix, the one? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, except with not a cool name.
I don't know. You could be Bob the Builder or Bob Bob who flips burgers. Those are the only two Bobs. Other two Bobs I know.
It's a two very different Bobs.
This Bob does have something good going for him though.
What?
He's got Glitch, the coolest weapon ever.
Yes, his wrist thing that does everything.
It's like the Ben 10 watch before Ben 10.
Yeah. Um, although it doesn't turn you into like 10
It doesn't turn
aliens.
Yeah, it doesn't turn you into monsters, but it seems like it can build whatever it wants.
Yeah, let's see. I saw a grappling hook, and then also didn't it stabilize the tear or
Yep.
something? Or
And it also cloaked them at the end.
yeah, you're right. Um, they used a lot of like computer talk in here because he's talking about like commands and stuff or README files.
Yeah, and because when Megabyte pops up, I think it was in this episode, to talk to Dot and them at the restaurant, it's in an old Windows screen.
Yeah, yeah, and you can see like the little like scroll bars and stuff on the bottom and the side.
And in his base on one of the doors, I don't maybe it's just a wall. There's actually a floppy disk logo. So
That's fun.
they're definitely working on what they had, I guess. Um, the thing I would like to mention, because being the first episode, I really love the idea of the incoming games.
Yeah, me too. Um, they're like input by the user, correct?
Yeah, and I thought that was a running thing for every episode, but we will discuss that later. It is not.
Yeah, because for me that is the highlight of the episode, seeing what kind of game they're gonna get into.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, I just want to go over this quick list of characters that you see routinely through episodes.
Yep.
So like we said, Bob, main character, Guardian. Enzo, um, Well, you know what, let's go with Dot. Dot is owner of Dot's Diner, and then her little brother Enzo is kind of like the sidekick type character, but then also the sidekick has a sidekick, which is his dog Frisket.
Hmm.
Um, Fong. Fong is this stereotypical wise man and sort of the archetype 80s Asian stereotype for like Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. And then um, the main villain of like the first season, because I know we get more villains down the line, but Megabyte, he's a virus, and I have on my notes he moves. Sometimes he moves like Sabretooth from the Wolverine Origins movie. Because I don't know if you remember that part in this episode.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
When he's climbing up the thing,
Yeah,
is
and I
it?
was just like, oh
Yeah.
my god, it looks just like in that movie.
It's also weird that he disconnects his torso from his body every now or his legs every now and then.
Yeah, it's
He has his own little like Professor X wheelchair.
yeah, that's weird. So with these episodes, it's a mainframe, it's a computer system. These AI people are living within it, and then, like you said, the game random games come down, which are initiated by us in our world, the user, the player, and it's pretty messed up that if you lose the game, the sector gets nullified, which is essentially wiping it out.
Yeah, it's charcoal. Everything inside of it dies.
And I was just kind of confused by that. Can you imagine if like I'm gonna play a game on my computer? If I win, I'm gonna erase my hard drive's gonna erase or something like that.
Yeah, it's definitely weird because like there's these sectors and people don't even know what's going on, and then they're just thrown into a game
Yep.
and they know nothing about it.
Yeah, that's also kind of pretty scary for those people within the mainframe. They're just going about their lives, and then if you don't watch out and this thing comes down on you, you could potentially just be erased.
Also, with the first game, I got really Top Gun slash Star Wars vibes from it.
Yeah, I noticed that too because I know they made a reference. It's like they're all lined up in their space fighters, and
Yeah.
they're saying stuff like "Gold Leader" or whatever they said from Star Wars.
Honestly, I don't know what else to talk about this episode.
Uh, well, I have a couple things. So, along with the Star Wars reference, they are also found themselves kind of like flying around a icy planet. So I was thinking, is that supposed to be like Planet Hoth from one of the Star Wars movies?
Yeah, I never
Um,
thought about that.
yeah, there's also a Pong reference. I think,
To Bob's trying to get information from Fong on what she should do with Megabyte wanting a favor.
yeah, and I forget the resolution is. They defeat Megabyte. The end is kind of complicated because they don't really explain um well, okay, so the tear, the big thing is the tear, and I guess Megabyte wants Bob to stabilize it, and therefore he can use it as a portal, and then his virus can affect more people or something. I don't. Did you have anything else you wanted to say about the episode one?
No, not that I can think of. In the game though, how does it end? I forget. Does Bob just shoot down Megabyte? I know there's the diversion where they fake capture the tear and pretend it's somewhere else and then they go invisible, but
Okay, so Bob using glitch. So the
uh
tear's right there. He's there with Dot, and so is Megabyte. He uses glitch using a hidden command, turns the tear, which is a big orb thing, and the tear turns into two small balls, which then appear to make to teleport them away from that area, but really it's just making them invisible. And therefore Megabyte's like, where did they go? I'm gonna go find them. And then they're like, ha ha ha, we're invisible. End of episode. Didn't really explain anything.
okay, I'm glad we're on the same page.
Yeah. But yeah, that is episode one, The Tearing.
Now on to episode 6. In the belly of the beast.
Yep, your favorite episode.
Yeah, it's a great one. It's different. Um, so pretty much, is it a shard that Frisket eats? Is that the
it
technical term for it?
they called it a valuable command.
Valuable command.
Hmm.
So Frisket's in a junkyard and he eats this command that gives him gas all day.
I forget. I think it was a okay. I remember it. It was an unformatting command, and because he swallowed it, it was like
Yeah,
trying to unformat his insides or something.
he's trying to unformat his stomach, which is then causing him to fart every 10 seconds.
Yeah, right. Farting in a computer world.
Something I did find interesting, Bob tries to help him, gives him a little cure, like doggy Pepto,
Yeah,
and he touches Frisket's muzzle, and it opens up, and there's a little engine underneath it.
yeah. I remember that. I was just like, that's really weird. There's a whole engine in his face.
Yeah, it's definitely different.
You would expect like, oh, it's gonna be computer parts or something but no, it's a
It's like
car
a car
engine.
engine. Yeah.
Yeah. So the plot of this episode, if you don't mind me doing a quick summary.
Yep.
Frisket swallows a valuable command. Megabyte captures him in order to remove it. Um, I don't know what I just wrote down there. Anyway, Enzo goes to save him, and then Megabyte is after them, but they prove to be a little more tough than he expected because it's a kid, and also Frisket is like ridiculously strong. He's got like superhuman strength, and so
Yeah, because he
it
rips off that door off that tank jet thing.
yeah when they capture um, Enzo,
Yeah.
but yeah, at the end they're able to get away, and but there are a couple of things that I would like to point out about this episode. Um, would you like to get your notes out there?
Uh, did you see the Jurassic Park tribute?
Yes, very blatant. It's referencing the beginning of the first movie, right, with the raptor cage.
Yeah, the raptor cage, and they got the prongs out and they're poking them, and
Yeah,
it's
they did a
pretty
good
much a
job.
homage right to it.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
Another thing that I thought was interesting, what are the little enemies called? Do
Um,
they ever get a name?
I don't know. I always just listed them as like Megabyte's henchmen.
Yeah. At one point, they're running away screaming backspace.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Instead of like run away, there's like backspace, backspace.
What did you have about the episode?
Um, so yeah, the whole backspace thing, little things like that, I really appreciate about the show because they really went in on this whole like computer theme. Um, so what do I got? One thing I thought was funny is Megabyte wants to get Frisket, and Frisket is in this sick state already, so he should be easy to get. But instead of just taking Frisket directly, they kidnap Enzo for some reason.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, instead of Frisket. I mean, I know in the long run, it's like I guess part of their weird plot because like if we capture this kid, then Frisket will come after him. But why not just get the kid? Um, I have like the same notes as you. Frisket freakishly strong, backspace.
The
Um,
thing with Frisket, though, if he's so weak, how's he climbing up the tower just straight up like Megabyte was in episode one?
yeah, that is something. Even in his sick state, I guess he is still pretty powerful. Um, oh, I also noted in here, Megabyte is also freakishly strong because he like straight up lifts one of those hover tanks and just tosses it like it's nothing.
Yeah.
And then the end. Do you remember how this ends? How this all resolves?
I'll let you handle that one because I do have something about the end, but it just deals with Megabyte at the end of the episode.
Okay, so you probably have the same thing as me. The solution to everything, Megabyte's after that command. It's in Frisket, and in the end, Frisket just poops her right out.
Yep. And then in the very end, Megabyte steps in the poop.
Yeah. And then I don't know if it's like the command is no longer usable because it's been digested, but Megabyte's just like throw it away. Like he doesn't even want it.
Yeah, all that for nothing. I think there's a running gag with this whole episode. I can't remember the movie, but I'm pretty sure there's a movie where a dog eats something, and the whole movie is them following around the dog waiting for it to pass the item.
That's that really does sound like something, and I'm not sure what movie that is.
I feel like it's a black 90s comedy, and it has to do with weed or drugs of some sort.
That makes sense.
But
Yeah,
to pinpoint what one it actually is, I have no idea.
yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's something with like when Dave Chappelle was making movies or something. I don't know.
The only other thing about this episode, which we find out, there's no incoming game in this one.
Yeah, that's we were talking about this before that this is the weaker episode of this ones we watched, and it's pretty much like one of those filler episodes. There's nothing super high stakes, and yeah, sadly, there's no game.
Yeah, which is always the main thing I look forward to,
Yeah,
which I
yep.
thought was a every episode thing, but apparently it's not.
No, they just it's one of those like let's focus on these side characters. 'Cause, I mean, I know Enzo's like a big character, but he's the side character to the the main characters. So it's just
Yeah,
like, eh. It's one of those episodes that you if you didn't see it, it doesn't really affect anything else. So
yeah, I don't think it ties together with anything at all. I don't think any of the episodes do, other than the last one because it's a two-parter.
yeah, true.
But I think really, if you watch any of the episodes out of order, it's not going to matter that much, other than episode one because you get the introduction to Bob. But other than that, I don't think they really tie together that much.
Yeah, plus every episode's intro pretty much explain like has a narration by Bob explaining like what the purpose of what's going on in this world and what he does
Yeah.
there. So uh I got nothing else. That's episode 6.
All right, now we're going on to episode 12 and 13, Identity Crisis.
Yeah, so we do 12 and 13 because it's Identity Crisis Part 1 and Part 2.
Yeah. Do you want to give a quick rundown of this episode?
Um, so do you want me to do a rundown on just Part 1?
Well, all kind of ties together, so we'll just maybe just do a general plot of the whole thing, call it one whole episode.
Okay, yeah, that works. So Dot has to convince a sector that is pretty much controlled by Megabyte to give them her or give her them. I can't talk. All the people within this sector have what they call PID codes, which is their personal ID code. And even though they're in Megabyte sector, it's pretty much what it's their last bit of independence. She has to convince all these people in the sector that if they give it to her, she can guarantee um, the freedom of the sector, thus turning it into a it's like a power
Power
it's like
grid?
an yeah power grid or something like that.
They want to change it into an amusement park, I believe,
Is it an amusement park?
of some sort. Or maybe a power section. Why is that the one thing I didn't write down in my notes?
Well, either way, it's essentially in the end the main goal is to free the sector from
Yeah.
Megabyte's control. Um, then something goes bad. I mean, even though they agree to it, something goes bad. Megabyte obtains all the PID codes, but he still has they're encrypted, so he still has to take some time to get it decrypted. At the same time, Dot's having I guess insecurities. She's feeling like a failure. She's also having weird visions of a horrible future, which turns
Hmm.
out to be the future of if Megabyte succeeds. And then there's also the Funhouse game shows up and makes things even more complicated.
Yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I do
Yeah,
like that this one starts out in a game
yeah, me too.
because it starts out with like a Bob as a Rambo slash commando.
I have that list.
he's training Enzo.
Yeah, it's like starting in the middle of a war game, and yeah, he Bob looks just like, or to me, he looked like John Matrix from Commando.
Yeah, that was my first thought. I like in this episode. I'm sure it might be in the other ones, but they give you a little bit more backstory about the icon, how it holds all the users' info. So if you lose your icon, you lose all your info because Enzo loses his icon on his hat for 2 seconds, and for whatever reason, Bob has it.
Yeah, I don't really get that, but yeah. So I never knew what they were called, but the PIDs, the little circle on that everyone has, and then it's like what the main characters when they enter a game and they hit it and they say reboot, and then they get their like their I guess their Fortnite skin ready for the game.
Yeah, that's a good reference. All the
Yeah.
kids will love that one.
Oh yeah, they'll be like topical.
I think this is probably the first episode where Dot really has doubts about herself. In all the other episodes, she's very strong, independent. In this one, she's very depressed, very worried, I guess.
Yeah, she's very down on herself. She is the main character of these two episodes, and yeah, they her lack of confidence um, results from feeling like she failed everyone, even though it turns out that they were double crossed anyway, and it wasn't really her fault. She was doing a good thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Um, the council meeting is not too bad. It's nothing over amazing. You can kind of tell what's going to happen. You can definitely tell Megabyte's waiting in the wings to break it all down.
oh yeah,
Um,
yeah.
the fact that she keeps all this information in this little black book, which then transforms and goes onto her belt like nothing. I'm just kind of curious how I forget his name stole all the PIDs off of that so quickly. Because
Cyrus.
yeah, Cyrus, they don't give any. You can definitely tell it's him, but you definitely don't see how he does it. Because she turns around, looks at the podium, and it's gone, and then he's like, "Here you go."
Was it? I don't know. Was it that moment that they took it? I thought it was like,
I assumed it was that moment because he had it in his hand. Because she turns around, looks at the
oh
stand,
yeah,
and she's so shocked. She's like, "Oh no, I lost everything in 2 seconds." And he's like,
yeah,
"No, it's right here. I got it."
yeah. I thought it was like automatically. I don't remember this episode, but when watching it, and he makes his like big sacrifice, I thought it was kind of over dramatic, and I was like, that's a little suspicious.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. He pretty much like drops down and gets captured in order for them to get away.
yeah. Kind of, you save yourself. I'll take the hit for it.
Yeah. Even though they were like they had a good distance, they could have all gone away. So that's what it's kind of weird.
Must have been his fro. His fro was holding him back.
God, yeah, that hair. No,
Which
I
I
don't.
think that must be a tribute to something else because I'm trying to think when playing Mafia 3, there was a character with a fro who was a very big rebel leader of some sort.
Oh,
I wish I knew what history it was based off of and what the character's real name was, but I think that that's a tribute to something as well.
yeah. Okay. Because I thought that was interesting too. Just his character design, because he looks like it's a character model that is reused a lot, except for the hair.
Yeah, he's the only one that has hair, I think.
Yeah, because all these, aside from the main characters, all these side people in the background all look like just like little robots.
Yeah, they're
And
just robots, circles, or numbers. We didn't see any numbers in the ones we watched, but I do remember like there's one episode where they go to a sketchy diner because I think someone's sick, and the chef is a number 5.
oh, interesting. I don't remember that.
Yeah, I think Bob's sick maybe.
Oh,
Maybe it's
probably.
Enzo. I think Enzo's sick with a virus.
Yeah. There, of course, there'd be a virus episode where everyone's getting sick and infected.
Yeah, of course we don't watch it.
Of course not. Um, yeah, part one ends with the funhouse dropping down and pretty much everything looking bad and um Yeah, the first episode ends on a downer note. Okay, part two. Megabyte has the PID list. Like I said, he's trying to decipher it. Dot is being emo and crying and
Very
um,
much emo.
yes. But then we get Mr. Miyagi, Mr. Fong. He's come and he pretty much sends Dot to into an the alternate future like that she's been having visions of. This alternate future is if Megabyte took over like the whole mainframe and called it Mega Frame, which is
Yeah, it's all dark sectors.
yeah, pretty much everyone's infected and um, it's a weird alternate future. Enzo is kind of like a punk. He's got facial hair, I think. I don't know.
He loses a hat, and one thing that's interesting with Megabyte taking over, everyone's got a barcode on their head.
Yeah, they're like shaved. I think it's like part of the process. You get shaved head and a barcode on your forehead.
Yeah, they put a helmet on your head, they shave off all your head and insert a barcode. One of the things I thought was really interesting when they went to the dark version. So we got Fong in a dark alleyway, going crazy, talking to himself, and we get closer to this box that's got Friska's face on it, and you can definitely tell he's inside the box. And out of nowhere, a penguin walks by.
I took note of that. Do you remember anything about that penguin?
No, I don't.
So he looked really familiar to me, the same kind of animation and like character model. And he had these like beady eyes, and he didn't say anything. He just looked at you menacingly.
Yeah.
He to me he reminded me of like Wallace and Gromit from my childhood.
Oh yeah.
Uh, there's an episode with like an evil penguin, I believe.
There's also now that I'm thinking about it, because this aired on YTV, there was a YTV cartoon on in the morning before school, which was claymation and just about penguin.
Okay.
I don't recall the name of it at all, but there was that too. So maybe being on the same network, maybe they just threw that in for fun.
Yeah.
Um, I do like that Bob's apparently dead, and he's a I don't know the technical term, some virus slug thing.
Yeah, he's like a blob in a cage, and Fong's gone crazy, and he's like, "You want to talk to Bob? Here he is."
Yeah, because he's the same style blob as is it Hexadecimal? Is that what her pets were?
Oh, yeah, I think you're right. A little extra. I don't know if you caught this. So in that alleyway, there is one shot. I think it's like, I think it's like at the end of that of her crazy vision, because I know her vision ends there, right? Because she gets like her shaved head and her barcode thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So there is a shot, and on the wall there is graffiti, and in the graffiti says final shot of season one. And so I was like, did the creators put that in there just like a reference? Because like um I don't know, just
Oh,
to note that like this alleyway scene right here, that was the last thing we animated.
I don't know. I never even noticed that.
Yeah, I had to like pause it because I wanted to read it, and then kind of like zoomed in. I'm like, oh yeah, that says final shot of season one.
Makes you wonder how much other stuff is just hidden away in the walls.
I know, right? Yeah, after that, pretty much the her vision ends and she's brought back to reality, and then she's like renewed purpose, and she wants to save everyone.
Yeah, it's got the whole moral of the story is never give up on yourself.
Yeah,
Um, then from there it goes back to her in the game at the fun house, and then she's finally getting ready to actually play the game because the game begins in the end of episode 12 and then continues here at the end of this episode. Um, Logic though with the game, because she goes down the bowling alley with a flat tire on a tricycle, comes to the spray gun game where you gotta fill up the tank. The clown's way ahead of her, but her just holding the hose and letting the pressure build up is apparently enough for her to catch up and win.
I feel like that doesn't add up to me.
It does. I don't think it does either because the clown's almost. He's like a couple centimeters away from hitting that big buzzer, and her just holding it and letting it go, it just shoots right up to the top.
Yeah, if I were the user, I'd be pissed because then I'd be like, well, that computer just totally cheated.
Yeah. The thing though, this has probably got one of the better um, users designs because the clown's just he's so pixelated. He's got sharp edges. He just looks like something out of a scary movie.
Yeah, he's kind of, you gotta like pause it to take just like a good look at him because he's really um like a PlayStation character. He's very polygonal.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah. And then it also adds to just like how unsettling that character design is. It's very creepy.
Yeah, definitely one of the cooler characters to be in the games. Thinking about there are a lot of different characters that we might discuss in a different episode because there's the Mad Max episode, there's the Looney Tunes episode with the crazy raccoon,
Oh yeah.
and then there's like I think a Mortal Kombat episode where they had to go for the different portals, and I think Enzo's then the Matrix already.
Oh,
I
really?
think, yeah. There's a
Man,
lot of different. I'm
you remember
Canadian.
these.
It was on reruns a lot.
Oh yeah, you're right. So
It was
you
probably
watch
on
this way
every
more than
night.
me.
Yeah, it's probably on every night on YTV.
Well, we don't have that here.
Well, that's not worth watching anymore, so it's all live action shows.
Ah, gotcha. I think originally for me, Reboot was on Cartoon Network.
Yes, probably sounds about right.
Yeah.
I think that was the American equivalent, pretty much, but better.
Yeah. So you do remember how this episode ends?
Other than her beating that, and then she wins the sector and gets all the ID PDIs back. PIDs, PDIs.
Yes. Yeah. So somehow she's like, we win the game. Before Megabyte is like literally about to finally decrypt it, she just hacks into the system and then steals back the PIDs and then that was it. I'm like, okay, so you were down on yourself this whole time for nothing? You could have done that the whole time.
Yeah, because she didn't learn anything new. It's just she believed in herself. It's just like having the undo button and on your screen and just clicking it, and that was that.
My takeaway from that is believe in yourself so you don't waste all that time.
Yeah, because really, I don't think it really needed to be a two-part episode.
No, I'm not sure what they could have cut out. I think if they cut out the vision stuff, because that her visiting that alternate future took up a good chunk,
Yeah,
and I feel like some quick pep talk from Fong could have just been like, "Hey, you know what? I know things seem bad, but just don't give up." And then that there you go. There's 20 minutes out of the episode or something.
and the thing with Fong, can he just talk to anyone for their mind at any point in time? Is that because he's with the supercomputer and everyone's connected to it, or is he just magic like that?
See, I mean, in this world, I'm what appears to be magic. I'm just going to assume that, like you said, he has like this greater connection to the mainframe than most people do.
Yeah, he's like that wise turtle from Kung Fu Panda.
Exactly. He better not. He better not die like that turtle did.
Yeah,
Spoilers.
I don't know if he does or not.
Hmm.
I don't remember him in any of the older episodes though.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Well, that
yeah,
sucks.
we'll find out later maybe.
Yeah. Um. Man, I didn't have anything else on this episode.
No, and then it's everyone's saved. They can turn that sector into the amusement park or whatever energy park that they want it to do, and
Oh, we got
that's
fireworks.
yeah, yeah, nice CGI fireworks.
One thing I would note in the Funhouse game, uh, the reskin of Bob is he just looks like a weird clown version of Bob. He's got like a Bozo the clown nose and everything.
Yeah, and she's pretty much a mixture of a clown and a sad mime.
Yeah, she has like that teardrop
Yeah,
on.
she's got the teardrop, and I think her color scheme is just black and white.
Yeah, she didn't look as ridiculous as Bob.
No.
I'm also kind of like, why would you, as the user, like, why would you choose this game? You got like these space fighter game, you got the war game, and then you're gonna like this carnival games kind of thing.
I guess maybe because of the time period, fun houses were such a big thing back then. You don't really hear much of them anymore. At least I don't.
No, I don't think so. I mean, no, I don't think so at all.
I do like though at the fun house, getting sucked into it. It's a big giant clown face with sharp teeth, and the tongue pops out and pulls Bob and Dot into it, and that's how the whole game starts.
Yeah, that was weird.
Definitely different for a kids cartoon.
No, yeah, they're doing weird stuff. I mean, this show was ultimate opportunity for them to just do whatever they want, and I think the concept of the user games just dropping down allowed for them to do a variety of things.
Yeah, definitely left it open.
I wonder if they're just like whatever genre or is big at the moment, or video games that are big at the moment. They should have done like a Doom game, or I'm not sure what else.
Could have
90s game.
done Doom or Quake or they wouldn't have touched Duke Nukem, that's for sure.
No, not at all. I mean, they probably could have made a reference, but oh, so this is a random note. When they go to that like kind of conference thing and meet up and everything, um, Dot is kind of dressed like a politician, and
I know where
then
you're going.
yeah, well, I'm not gonna make those connections there, but I just thought Bob looked weird because he was, I guess, assuming the position of her like Secret Service, and he's just wearing sunglasses, but
Yeah, nothing's different but those shades.
yeah, he's wearing the exact same thing. But at the same time, I feel like there's no sun where they are, and so he's just wearing them to look like Secret Service. I don't.
Corey Hart music tribute? Good possibility.
Yeah, maybe that. I love my notes. On one of them, it just says alternate future Enzo is a dick.
Yeah, it pretty much is. I just don't understand the barcodes.
No, I mean it must be a way to like track everyone,
Tracking? Yeah.
or like I don't know. You're like if you're scanning the city for a specific person, maybe it's easier to just scan foreheads. I don't know.
Um, your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah, I'm probably just grasping at straws. Oh,
Well, do
well,
you have any more notes?
no. Um, as far as season one is concerned, good start. Blah middle, and then the end kind of overdone, but still enjoyable for me.
Yeah. It's got its ups and downs.
Yeah, I think it wrapped up nicely, but it wasn't like I don't know. For a season ender, you would think there'd be something to imply that the bad guy was kind of like defeated and gone, not
Yeah.
just like not just like oh we foiled his plan, but you didn't exactly really do anything to him to stop him from trying again.
Yeah, it's pretty much just going to be the same stuff over and over again because there's no real end to it.
Yeah, and it's like I just thought maybe at this point they had already been approved for another season, because usually for cartoons in their first season, you don't know if you're going to get greenlit for another season, and so you kind of try to wrap it up,
Yeah.
but leave the idea of like maybe this will come back.
Yeah, it's definitely a different ending. I would definitely recommend the cartoon for just the simple fact that it's the first CGI cartoon. So that alone is unique because it's not as clean and crisp as CGI is now. It's very bulky, like a PS1 and 64 game. So it's definitely interesting in that state.
Yeah, I agree. It's very much a timepiece when you go back and see what they were doing back then versus because this was like it's the first one. This was rare. This wasn't being done. And then you look at shows today, you've got simple like baby and toddler shows that are being churned out like nothing and they're all computer animated.
Yeah, and they're all crisp and curved edges, no hard lines. So
Yeah, actually you'll see some people making stuff on YouTube that looks better than that.
yeah, so it's definitely it's nice to see how things have evolved since then.
We have come so far.
Yes, we are old, I know.
Yeah, big time. Well, that's all I got for this series. I still love this show.
I do too. It might not hold up. Some of the episodes might not all be great. Looking at you, episode number 6, because you don't have a game, but it is what it is. I still would recommend it though.
Yep, that I guess that's the rating system for this show. If it's an episode without a game, it's not good.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
It's unique. It ends episode 6. I will say ends on a funny part, so that's got my vote.
I mean, yeah, bad guy stepping in dog poop is pretty good. Well, I'd say that's wraps up this episode.
Yeah, it wraps up episode number 2.
You got anything to plug?
Other than just checking me out on my Facebook and Instagram and Twitter at Typhonstein and the Illustrated Mind of Brian Tyfair. Um, we'll keep you updated on what's coming next. We don't have any plans for what's going to be episode 3 yet, but we will be definitely discussing that. And then follow us on Twitter for the Nostalgic Dad podcast and Instagram as well. And I'll let you drop all the audio links because
Yeah.
you know those ones better.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, this time we definitely have a lot more stuff going on than what we mentioned in the first episode. Like you said, we have the social media going on, and then now we are on major podcast platforms. Our hosting site is Castbox, so you can find us on Castbox, but you can also find us on Apple Podcasts. We're on TuneIn. We're on Spotify. You supposed to be able to find us on Google Play, according to them. They told me that we are good on there, but I have not been able to find us, which I think is pretty weird. So I'm
So
gonna
worst
keep,
case, don't use Google Play right now. We're
yeah,
sorry.
yeah, I'm gonna keep checking that. But the big ones are there. We Apple and Spotify. Um, and then working on it, we're eventually going to be turning these into YouTube videos. So that will be another means of finding us, but that's in the works.
Yeah, and like I did for myself, we'll definitely get a link tree set up. That way it's a little bit easier to navigate.
Oh yeah, good idea.
That way it's not all over the place. And depending on whatever people's preference are, they can just click the accommodating link to find it.
Well, I think that's it for us.
I think so.
Thank you very much, sir. You are killing it.
Thank you very much, sir. And good to see you streaming back on Mixer. Just going to plug that for you.
Thanks. I didn't even think about that one. Yeah, I'm back on there.
We'll get all the links set up in the description and we'll set it up that way.
Yeah, definitely. Well, guys, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.